What is good, people? Tunji again from Caesar Graphics. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and remember to ring the bell so you will be notified when I post my tutorials. Okay, today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make this lovely looking spot poster, and without any further ado, let's jump into today's tutorial. Okay, so let's create a new document. So click on File and select New. So for this project, I'm going to use by 1350 color mode to RGB, and I'm going to call this man view. Then I'm going to hit OK. So I'm going to bring in the picture of the gravel. So I'm going to drag that and drop here. So we have to change this to night view. So I'm going to click on the color lookup. So I'm going to come here and I'll choose night from day. So we need to change this to black and white. So I'm going to go to black and white option here. This should be above the layer of the color lookup, like so. So next thing I'm going to do is to select the curve adjustment here, and I'm going to push this down just like so. All right, better. So I'm going to put this in a group. So I'll select the layers and I'll hit the shortcut on my keyboard. Okay, so the next thing I'm doing now is to bring the already designed title from Illustrator. Then I'll copy this, and then I'm going to paste it here. So I'm going to check the Smart Object option here, and I'll hit OK. All right, so I'm going to scale this big a little bit, like so. This is just going to be our profile. Okay, so I'm going to hide this and open this, hide all these layers. All right, I want to take out the texture from the gravel layer, so I'm going to click on the gravel layer now, and I'll go to select color range, and I'm just going to hit OK. I'll make all this visible again. Grab this, then create a new layer, and I'll call this texture. All right, then I'm going to fill this with any color on my foreground. Hold on Alt and hit the backspace and hit the Ctrl D on my keyboard to take out the marquee selection. Hold down Ctrl and click to create a marquee of that title. So I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to call this title. All right, then I'll fill it with red. So I'm going to come here and pick red, like so, and I'll hit OK. Then I'll hold on Alt and backspace to apply the color of the next thing I'm going to do now is to hold down Ctrl and click on the thumbnail of the texture layer to bring out the marquee of that layer, and I'm going to just click on the vector masked icon here, and we have this. So what I'm going to do is I'll click on the thumbnail of the layer again, then I'll go to the effects button here. I'm going to select outer glow. Then for this, I'm going to make it red. Okay, inner glow, and I'm going to use red again. So, and I'll hit OK. Okay, create a new layer, and I'll call this. And I'll hit OK. Create a thumbnail of the profile layer again, and fill it with red with Alt backspace. And I'm going to hit the Ctrl D on my keyboard to deselect, but this time I'm going to change the mode to color bond. Create a new layer again, and I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to hold on Ctrl again and bring out the marquee of my profile layer, and I'm going to fill it with red, and I'll hit Ctrl D on my keyboard. So I'm going to make this red more darker than every other red, and I'll hit OK. Then I'm going to fill this with foreground color, and I'm going to hit the Ctrl D on my keyboard to deselect that, and I'll blend it this. All right, then I'm going to move this. All right, and I'm going to click OK. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring out the texture from the gravel. All right, because the texture is what we are going to use to make the fire look real. So I'm going to select the text layer here, and I'm going to reduce the fill. All right, so I'm going to make a new red again by holding on Ctrl, and I'll click on the profile thumbnail again, and I'll hold this red again. All right, and I'm going to just say OK, and this time I'm just going to make this brighter, like so, and I'm going to hold on Alt and fill it. blended this. All right, so I'm going to double click on this. I'm going to move this to this side. All right, now as you can see, we're beginning to see that texture feel on it. So I'm going to hold on Alt and break the slider like so. So I'm just going to push this to this point and I'll hit OK. All right, so I'm going to make a copy of this. I'll change this to screen. Make a new layer and I'll call this orange. So I'm going to hit OK. So I'm going to hold down Ctrl again on the profile thumbnail and I'll change this to orange and I'll hit OK. Hold on Alt and apply the orange color to this. I'll go to select, modify, and I'll select contract. And I'm going to use 2 contract here and I'll hit OK. So I am going to just add the vector mask again. And for this one, I'm going to double click again and push this in just like so. And I'll hold on Alt to break the slider like so. All right. Pushing this here. All right, so there's one thing I forgot to do. I need to blur all the layers. So I'm going to click on this, select filter, blur, and I'll select Gaussian blur here. And I'm going to push this down to about this, and I'll hit OK. I'm going to create a new layer again. So I'm going to just call this. Then I'm going to go to my profile again, hold down Ctrl and click on the thumbnail again. And I'm going to change this to red again. I'm sure somebody's like, okay, why are we using too much red? Yes, we need red because we need to build the fire look. So I'm going to hit OK and I'm going to hold down Alt and fill the layer with the red color. And this time I'm going to go to filter, blur, and I'll select Gaussian blur, just like so. And now 18 points is fine. I'm just going to say OK. And I'm going to change my blend mode to multiply. And I'm reducing the opacity to something around 51. Create a new layer again now. Then I'll change my blend mode to color dodge. And I'll check the fill with color dodge neutral color, black option here. And I'm going to say OK. I'm going to hold down Ctrl on the orange layer here to create a marquee of it. I'm going to fill the layer with select, modify, and I'll select contract, and this time I'll use 2, and I'm going to hold on Alt and fill it with yellow foreground color. Click on the vector mask icon here, and I'll go to the brush settings here, select this type of brush, close the space, reduce the brush size like so. Right, and I'm going to zoom in. So I'm going to randomly take out some part of the layer. So I'm just going to reduce the size of my brush and I'll make sure this is set to black like so, and I'm just going to randomly click to take out some part of the layer from. This time I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to hold on Alt and click, and I'll call this one light yellow. Then my blend mode should be color dodge again, and I'll fill the same option that I checked previously, and I'm going to hit OK. Before we apply the light yellow to the black layer, I think we need to add more blur to the layers. So I'm just going to go to filter, blur, and select Gaussian blur. So I'm going to reduce the opacity of this. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete the vector mask of this and say apply. Then I'll make a marquee of that layer, and the next thing I'm going to do is, so I'll go to select, modify, and I'll select contract, and I'm going to use something around 4. All right, then I'll add a vector mask, and then we have this. So I'm just going to go to filter, blur, and select Gaussian blur. All right, so this is not bad. Okay, and I'm just going to say okay. On the layer of the light yellow, I'm going to hold on Control and create of the orange layer, and I'll go to select, modify, and I'll select contract again. 4 still fine, so I'm just going to select OK, and I'll fill this with the color like so. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to deselect this. Then I'm going to add a vector mask to this. Then I'll select my brush too. All right, so what we're doing now is I'm taking out some part of the light effect on the title. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the brush tool. Make sure I use this type of brush. Go to the shape dynamic and push the angle geometer to 40 so as to have random rotation when I'm applying the brush. And I'm going to reduce the size of my brush, and I'll select the vector mask layer. Make sure your foreground is set to black like mine, and I'm just going to apply. Okay, this is good. So I'm going to reduce the opacity just a little bit, just like so. And there's one other thing I want to do again. I'm going to randomly add some particles of light to the gravel here. So I'm just going to select the layer, and I'll make sure that my foreground is set to this color, and I'm just going to zoom in and increase the size of my brush just a little bit. I'm just going to randomly add some particles of light here like so. Just going to do the same thing here. All right, this is good. Then I'm going to put everything in a group. Shift select them and hit Ctrl G. So I'm going to apply the noise image to the project, hit enter, and I'll change my blend mode to soft lights, just like so. And the next thing I'm going to do is to blend with this. So I'll double click here, and I'm just going to push this way. All right, and I'll hold on Alt, and I'm going to select OK. But this time I'm just going to reduce the opacity just a little bit, not too much, just like so. Go to the profile, click on the thumbnail with Ctrl hold down, and I'm going to create a new layer. I'll make the color red. All right, and I'll hold on Alt and fill it with the red color, and I'll hit the Ctrl D on my keyboard to deselect the marquee. I'll go to filter, blur, and I'll select Gaussian blur, and this time I'm going to push this up to about this point just to have that hot feel on it. All right, and I'll hit OK. I'm going to change the opacity to 51. I'll change the blend mode to spray. I'm going to create a new layer, hit enter, select the brush tool, and I'm going to go to the brush tip option here, and I'm going to select this type of brush and check this, and I'm going to increase the size of my brush. I need to zoom out. So I'm going to apply light effect to some part of the gravel like so. Just reduce the size of the brush again and just apply it to some part of this side of the layer like so. And I'm going to double click here to blend with this. Then I'm going to push this to this and go like so. Hold on Alt and click to break the slide, and I'll push this like this and make this go like this. So if I zoom in now, you see now that we're beginning to see this hot light effect on the gravel. I'm going to select OK. Okay, now zoom out. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to apply curve. Alright, to create a vignette. So I actually want the focus to be on this part of the project. So I'm going to go to the curve adjustment, and I'm just going to dial this. Going to select the brush tool, increase the size of my brush, and I'm going to apply black to the vector mask. So I'm just going to click here to apply it now. As you can see now, we're beginning to have this light effect at the center of the project, like so. Then I'll reduce my flow to something around 15. So the red is too much on the project, so I'm going to go to the hue adjustment. I'm just going to push the red down just a little bit. So it's time for me to take this to camera raw. So I'm going to hold on Ctrl Shift Alt and E to stamp visible of the layer. And I'll go to filter and I'll select camera raw filter here. I'm going to reduce the exposure just like so. And I'm going to reduce the contrasts. Alright. Just a little bit, increase the highlights just to add more depth to the scene. And then for the light effect part, I'm going to just push the white up just like so, just to make the light more stronger. All right, and I'm going to increase the texture just to add contrast to the pixels of the project. And I'll go straight to the sharpen. I'm going to increase that. All right. Increase that just a little bit, just not too much. And I'll come here under the HSL. I'm going to click on the saturation, and for the orange, I'm just going to push that up like so. Under luminance, I'm going to increase the orange again, just like so. And I'll go to the FX icon here and add more growing to this, which is noise. So I'm going to push that up. So I'll just zoom in. Alright, so I'm going to add more noise to it. Just like so, and I'm going to say OK. So this is what we have now, and we need to add smoke effect to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer, and I'll call this smoke. Then I'll change this to white. Alright, and I'll select the brush tool. And I'm just going to reduce the size of my brush, just like so, and I'll brush here, brush here, brush here, brush. Just like so, and I'll make a new smoke layer again. But this time I'm only going to apply this once on one side, and I'm going to hit the Ctrl T on my keyboard. Right click and select the warp option here, and I'm just going to play with the warp like so. Alright, I'm going to say enter. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to position this below, edges of the brush. So I'm going to hit OK. Then I'll make a copy of this again and position this somewhere here. Then I'm going to select all the layers, the smoke layers, except this very first one that we created. And I'm just going to hit the Ctrl E to merge the layers. Then I'm going to add a vector mask. All right, first, and then I'll reduce the opacity of this just a little bit. Then I'll select the vector mask thumbnail, and I'm going to select the brush tool. I'll zoom in, reduce the size of my brush, and I'm just going to randomly take out some parts of the layer. So I'm going to do the same thing to this one. Also, I'm going to add the vector mask. And I'm just going to randomly take this out from here. So I should select the two layers, and I can move this down just like so. You can even go further by, duplicating it and just rotate. Make this one go in a little bit more and just, make it go somewhere around here and reduce the opacity a little bit more. So, zoom it here. Make a copy of it again and just make this be somewhere around here, and we can make the opacity go down a little bit more, just like so. Then I'll put everything in a group. And I'll call this smoke. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the picture of the players. So I already have it cropped, so I'm just going to drag and drop here like so, and okay, select curve, just click on this icon here to apply it to just only that layer, and I'm going to push this down. Okay, so alright, and I'll select luminosity, and the next thing I'll do is to select the black and white adjustment here, and I'm going to click on the same icon again, and for the red I'm going to push that down just a little bit. For yellow I'm going to dial that off like so, and I'm going to create a new layer and I'll call this black brush, which is B. And change the foreground to black, select the brush tool, increase the size of the brush, and I'm just going to brush. And I'm going to add my text. Okay, I'm going to add noise to this. I'm going to hold on Alt and click here and call this noise. And select soft lights here. And I'll check the fill with soft light neutral color option here, and I'll hit OK. I'll go to filter, noise, and add noise. Okay, and I'm going to select OK. Select brush, add vector mask. Actually don't want it to apply to every part of the project because we already have noise on some part of the project, so I'm just going to take it out from some part of the project like so. So this is it. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and if you have not subscribed, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys again in my next tutorial. Peace.